Om Jnanatimanasya Janansalasnak Chakshurmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Chitchaitanyamanopistam Staptam Yena Bhutale Shamukadamayam Tadati Shampadam Vandeham Shivu Shiyuda Bhakam Shivu Vaishnavamsam Shri Rupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Tam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam 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 Shri Krishna Chaitanya Dev Shri Radha Krishna Padam Saganalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Hey Krishna Guna Sinu Dina Bandhu Jyat Pate Gopesha Gopakanta Anakanta Tapta Kanchna Gaurangi Radhe Panesh Shabana Altavisha Kripas Navisha Patam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasati Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Padaya Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Gauravaccha Nirvishesha Sankara. So, arrived at the final session seminar, and it is probably the most important part. It is how to chant the holy name. So we have heard the characteristics of the holy name, the advent of the holy name in this world imported from Golok, meant to bring us back to Golok. We also heard about the effects of chanting the holy name. And now we will learn how to chant. Both Lord Chaitanya, he said, Namamakari Baudan Nicha Sarva Saktis, Tatramitanyamitan Smaranamena Kalaha, Tatvisita Vakika Bhagavan Amapi Devam Ichichan Iachan Aga. Krishna has invested all in his potencies in this holy name. And there are no hard and fast rules for chanting. He said so there's a pastime here of the young Gopala Guru one day Gopal happened to notice that while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to the latrine, he was holding his tongue between his teeth. When asked by the boy about this behavior, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that this tongue couldn't stop chanting, yet it was improper to chant while engaging in a call of nature. And Gopal remarked, but what if someone, while relieving themselves, left his body? What would be his destination if he were not chanting? So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased and said, you have spoken correctly because you have enlightened me by your instructions. You are like my guru. From today, you shall be known as Gopal Guru. Interesting. So Lord Chaitanya said, regardless of time and place, One who chants the holy name even while eating or sleeping attains all perfection. So no time, place, and circumstances. But there is, what about the pronunciation of the holy name? That in the Vedic mantras, the mantras had to be pronounced perfectly. Otherwise, they will lose its efficacy. It would not work. Or even worse, there are examples in the Srimad Bhagavatam of Tvasta who pronounced a mantra and one syllable he pronounced long instead of short, and he got the opposite effect, a different effect that he did not desire. Because as a result of Tvasta, of his mispronunciation, he produced Vitrasur, who would not kill Indra, but would be killed by Indra. So he wanted to create a demon that kills Indra, but he got a demon who would be killed by Indra. So in Vedic mantra is very important. But it's said in the Bhagavatam at the end of the 8th canto, mantratas tantradasidram desha kalara vastuta sarvankarota nishitram anu sankirtanam tava. There may be discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras and observing the regulative principles, and moreover, there may be discrepancies in regarding to time, place, and person and paraphernalia. But when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. So that's interesting. And the holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. The Srila Prabhupada speaks about that in the Bhagavatam 4:13-27. There is writes in the purport. It is the practice of the Brahmins conversant with the signs to pronounce a Vedic mantra in the right accent. The combination of the mantra and Sanskrit words must be chanted with the right pronunciation, otherwise it will not be successful. In this age, the Brahmins are neither well versed in the Sanskrit language, not very pure in practical life. But by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can attain the highest benefit of sacrificial performances. Even if the Hare Krishna mantra is not chanted properly, it still has so much potency that the chanter gains the effect. That's Haridas Thakur said, Namera Akshara Sabera Eta Vasvabhav Vyavaita Hailachana Shade Apana Prabhav. The letters of the holy name have so much spiritual potency that they act even when uttered improperly. Sanatana Goswami goes a little further. He says that even if the syllables of the holy name are vibrated in separate words, they will still have the effect. And he speaks about the words halam rectam. You have the syllable ha, halam, ha, in the word halam, and the syllable ri in rectam, separately pronounced. So that's ha and ri. Hari is a holy name. But nevertheless, the holy name will act because one somehow or other utters the word Hari, that similarly, in the word Rajamaishi, the syllables Ra and Ma appear in separate words, so that's Ram. The holy name, but somehow or other, they appear together, and therefore the holy name of Ram will act. So that's interesting. So the holy name, even if pronounced improperly, Krishna knows we want to. We are addressing him by his name. He knows it's in our heart. He knows our sincere endeavor. So even if it's not pronounced properly, it still will act. So the holy name is so transcendently powerful that nothing material can stop from acting. But of course, if one exploits the holy name, then the action of the holy name will be delayed, exploiting. If one chants the holy name to get material benefit, that's exploiting. So that points to the importance of our inner attitude. The inner attitude by which when we chant the holy name, what is our inner attitude? What is our intention? So Srila Prabhupada, in Nectar of Instruction, which is a very important book for us beginners, in that book, Srila Prabhupada writes, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. I'll read it again. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So it depends on the attitude. Why you are chanting. That's so the holy name, if we think, the holy name will free me from all karma, so I can do some nonsense, some sinful activities, and then I chant the holy name. That's offensive. That Krishna knows that. Then the potency of the holy name, when we chant, it will not manifest. It will not manifest. Because this is an offensive, exploitive attitude. And such attitude leads to spiritual fall down. We should remember, we said in the beginning, the first session, the holy name is Krishna. Krishna is a person. It's a supreme, omniscient person. Is aware of our attitude, and he responds accordingly. Bhagavad Gita 4:11, Yeya tamam pavachante tam stadeva vajamya. Krishna says, as one surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. So but the holy name acts even if we chant improperly. That is what Haridas Thakur says. The holy name acts even if we chant improperly. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he explains that this does not apply to materialistic people who chant the holy name for their sense gratification. Then the holy name will not act. So inner attitude, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. That's Srila Prabhupada writes, I read a quote of Srila Prabhupada. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita in 3359 purport. Utterance of the holy name while one engages in sense gratification is an impediment on the path towards achieving ecstatic love for Krishna. On the other hand, if one is eager for devotional service and utters the holy name partially or improperly, the holy name, which is identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, exhibits its spiritual potency because of that person's offenseless utterance. Thus one is revealed from all unbounded practices, and one yearly awakens his dormant love for Krishna. Yes. So one should be eager for devotional service, eager. So the point is, if we want to chant, we want our chanting to be effective, we should be sincere. And what does sincerity mean? That non-duplicious and other understand. Yeah, we want to connect with Krishna. Service attitude. Yeah, we want to serve Krishna by chanting his holy name. No ulterior motives. Very good. That's so sincerity means eager for devotional service, eager to please Krishna without ulterior motives, yes. It means being eager to chant purely. And to chant purely, one must be willing to let go whatever in their lives may be obstructing the chanting and accept what supports the chanting. So that's another element of being sincere. Accepting what is favorable for the chanting, accepting what is unfavorable for the chanting. So that's, yeah. Then you identify as a spirit soul. What is favorable for the spirit soul? What's not favorable? What's favorable is what makes us advance in the chanting, spiritual life. Unfavorable is what we should reject. And that is identifying as a spirit soul. Most people, they are accepting and rejecting. They are accepting what gives pleasure to the body. They are rejecting what gives pain to the body. And that is identification with the body. It causes lust and will fortify this false identification. But this is our real identification. When you leave this world, what do you take with you? It's your consciousness. That's the only thing that's yours. The other things, we should remain a devotee, advancing in spiritual life, means being concerned with the purity of my consciousness. So this is of course, Lord Chaitanya, he appeared with many of his eternal associates from Golok. And one of these associates was Jagananda Pandit. And Jagananda Pandit, was an intimate associate with Lord Chaitanya, and it gives clear guidance in regards to this sincerity. And this is from Prema Vivarta, one of the scriptures of the Goswamis, that's well, Prema Vivarta is a book of Jagannath Pandit, really. And he writes, "Oh brother, you cannot chant the holy name in the association of non-devotees." That's interesting. You cannot chant holy name in the association of non-devotees. This is the importance of the association of devotees. Something resembling the sound of the name may come out of your mouth, but it will not really be the name. So yes, when we are alone, does that mean we cannot chant holy name? Well, we can read Prabhupada's books. Read Prabhupada's books and chant. Hear lectures on the Bhagavatam and so on. So something resembling the sound of the name may come out of your mouth, but it will not really be the name. It will be something be the name's reflection, namabhas, or sometimes offensive chanting, namaparat. But brother, you should know in either case, this kind of chanting interferes with the attainment of pure devotion to Krishna. If you want to chant the holy name properly, then associate with devotees and keep desires for sense enjoyment, liberation, and yogic powers at a distance. Give up the 10 offenses. Give up honor and dishonor. Tolerate the world with detachment, and thus chant the name of Krishna. There are a lot of instructions. Give up the 10 offenses. Don't care for honor or dishonor in this world. Don't care. Tolerate the world. Be detached. It's all soon over, this dream of the body. But there are similar recommendations in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam that an intelligent person who has controlled his mind and conquered fear should give up all attachment to material objects such as wife, family, and nation, and should wander freely without embarrassment, hearing and chanting the holy names of the Lord, the bearer of the chariot wheel. The holy names of Krishna are all auspicious because they describe his transcendental birth and activities, which he performs within this world for the salvation of the conditioned souls. Thus, the holy names of the Lord are sung throughout the world. So, we learned already a few things. The first thing that we heard, there are no rules, but sincerity is important. What was the meaning of sincerity that we heard here from the scripture? You remember? Accepting what is favorable for spiritual advancement for the chant. Rejecting what's unfavorable. Should remember that. And what is the importance of attitude in the chanting? Most important. That attitude is everything for making spiritual advancement. And what kind of attitude we should avoid? we should avoid attitude of wanting sense gratification. Yeah, exploitive mentality. That thinking I can do simple activities and that I chant, I will become purified. No, sincerity is required. That
satisfaction is required for every devotee.
Yeah.
But self-adoration is different, very distinctly different. But satisfaction is required. If the devotees are not happy, they will not go on.
Yeah, right. That this is also explained in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 9. Machita machata prana bodhi antaspashram pratyam samtvam nityam tushanti sharantusham. The devotees, they are conversing and speaking about me, and they derive great bliss and satisfaction from that. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, second paragraph. So, in the beginning, one must derive satisfaction from the service itself. And in an advanced stage, one will feel ecstatic love. Then satisfaction is. That's more than satisfaction. But in the beginning, we must derive the satisfaction from the service itself. Now, to be satisfied in your chanting, and that's important, we must have the right attitude. If you have the right attitude of no ulterior motives, just to serve Krishna by chanting his name, wanting to please him, you will feel satisfied. If you don't feel satisfied in the chanting, something is wrong with your motives. Still, attachment is lingering to things in this world. But it's like, it looks like a vicious circle, and you can't get out of it. That because we can't chant pure because of our attachment. And then, but if we chant pure, we will get rid of our attachment. It's like a vicious circle. How to get out of it? That it looks like hope against hope. That, but Krishna made special arrangements. If we accept a bona fide spiritual master and serve the spiritual master sincerely, following his instructions, that Krishna is pleased. And he will help us to break this vicious circle. Yes.
In the beginning, John is taking the candy, the taste. So the satisfaction will be that I'm getting better, not necessarily will be tasting the rasa while the sickness is still there. That I'm getting better and keep on chanting. So that will be the satisfaction. And then eventually jaundice will go away. The taste will come.
Yeah. It's like jaundice in the beginning. The cure for jaundice is taking sugar. But in the beginning, the sugar, it tastes bitter. But one continues taking the sugar and the taste will hardly come back. And it's like the holy name, in the beginning, we don't have the big taste. But if we chant with the proper attitude, there will be satisfaction at least. The big taste is not there. But if we continue, we'll come to that. So the next points here, to chant successfully, is give up material sense gratification and accept a supportive lifestyle. That So the Shastras and Acharyas concur that for the best result in chanting, one must give up sense gratification, material sense gratification. Lord Chandas Thakur has sung Saba Avatara Sara Siromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's process for worshipping Krishna by chanting the holy name is Kevala Ananda Kanda. It's just so joyful, this chanting, Lord Chandas Thakur says. Simply joyful. But to be successful in chanting, he has want, Visaya Shadiya. One must give up material sense gratification. Because sense gratification puts us in material consciousness, which entangles us and leads us to have a materialistic understanding of the Lord and his holy names and pastimes. That is the understanding of the Mayavadis who offend the Lord by considering the transcendental body of the Lord to be creation of material nature. So yeah, this. So give up the desire for sense gratification. It's not easy. That we all need to eat. But what's the solution given in Bhagavad Gita? Don't eat too much. Don't eat too less. Just what you need. That what the body needs. And only eat Krishna Prasad. That's the diet. Krishna Prasad. Food offered to Krishna. And just eat what you can digest. What you can digest is, according to Ayurveda, what you can hold in your two hands. That's the contents of your stomach. We have all different hands. And this is what you can eat, what you can hold in your two hands. This is what you can eat in one time. Well, it doesn't matter. Try to put as much as possible, but not eat more than you can hold. But Ayurveda says, from what you can hold, you can eat as breakfast 60 to 70%. As lunch, 80 to 9%. And in the evening, 10, 20%, very little. It's not good to eat much in the evening. But, the fire of digestion is most awake on noontime. And then a favorable lifestyle. So we must have a lifestyle of eating pure vegetarian food offered with love to Krishna. Only prasadam. That we should live sober, a sober outlook on life. We must minimize our anxieties by avoiding unnecessary financial risks. That's important. Don't try to buy a house that and you are paying for the house a mortgage of $3,000 a month, and your salary is $3,200 a month. Is that intelligent? No, you are going to run in trouble very soon. Don't do these things. That will make your life difficult to you because you become a slave of the house. and not a servant of Krishna. And one must control one's mind and senses by observing celibacy. Celibacy is very difficult for many people. Celibacy. So live a simple life. Make your life simple. Get what you need, but not more than you need. That's what you need to live a simple life. And so that you can concentrate on the spiritual principles of mercy, austerity, cleanliness, truthfulness, is the basis of the four regulative principles we follow. And that, if we have a simple lifestyle like that, and we dedicate ourselves to spiritual practice, it will have an enormous impact on the quality of your chanting. And then the next thing to do is give up association with materialistic people and seek the association of devotees. This is a few verses I remember from is the teachings of Rishabhadev, 5th canto. Mat sevam param aur vimuktes tamudram yostam sangha sangam. That if we associate with sadhus, spiritually advanced persons, it opens the door for liberation. And when we associate with materialistic people who try to enjoy the opposite sex, it opens the door to hell. So we have to, Pashangam acham pasham atmano kavyogide saivat sat sukita moksat varam apavitam. Is a verse of Kapila Dev to devotee. He says, attachment to material things is the cause of entanglement of the spirit soul. But attachment, if we transfer that same attachment to the sadhu, to spiritual advanced persons, it opens the door for liberation. And what does it mean, this association with Mahatmas? That Shatam Pasangam Mamavirya Samvido Bhavanti Karna Saina that Yosanata Bhavarya Vartmani Shadar Bhakti Anukamishati. Shatam Pasangam. One should become attached to the Satam, to the pure devotees of Krishna, and attached to hearing from them about Krishna and his pastime. Satam Prashangam Amavirya Samvidu. This very important, very powerful pastimes. Satam Prashangam Amavirya Samvidu. That Bhavanti Karna Saina Kata. Bhavanti Karna. It comes to the karna, to the hear. One hears the pastimes from pure devotees. And from the hear, bhavanti, it comes down to the rit, to the heart. And there it's relished. And by relishing these pastimes of Krishna, one becomes attracted to Krishna. And one is of the path of liberation. One is on the path of liberation because one gets faith, one becomes attached to Krishna and will develop love for Krishna. So to develop love for Krishna, we need to hear from pure devotees. Very important that so association of pure devotees. in the purport of this verse, Srila Prabhupada writes, this verse is, I always remember it, 3:25-25. That's the process of advancing in Krishna consciousness and devotional service is described here. How to advance. We should hear very attentively. The first point is that one must seek the association of persons who are Krishna conscious and who are engaging in devotional service. Without such association, one cannot make advancement simply by theoretical knowledge or study. One cannot make an appreciable advancement. One must give up the association of materialistic persons and seek the association of devotees, because without the association of devotees, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Association with devotees means association with the Lord. The devotee who makes this association develops the consciousness for rendering service to the Lord. And then, being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he becomes perfect. About 20 years ago, I was traveling with Prahlad Nanda Swami, 2-3 months every year through Europe. New areas at that time, because at 1990, the Iron Curtain fell down, and then we could enter the east part of Europe. All these ex-communistic countries, and we traveled to the Balkan together, nearly to all the countries there. And sometimes we took tremendous risks, I must say, right after the war in Serbia. But I traveled with Prahlad Nanda Maharaj, and that changed my life. Constant association with advanced persons engaged in the mission of Prabhupada, in the mission of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna. That changed my heart. I adopted the lifestyle of a devotee. I saw Prahlad Nanda Maharaj was. He was teaching me how to preach. He was very merciful. So that's the process. That process is also described in the Bhagavatam. Narada Muni in his previous life, he was 5 years old, and he associated 4 months with the Bhaktivedantas, who came together during Chaturmasya. 4 months he was with them day and night, and that changed his life. He became very sober. He became different from all the other children. He didn't want to play. He understood the aim of human life and his situation. Although he was about a young age. That so powerful, this association. That course, there's many things to do. Now, the next thing to do to chant the holy name is avoiding the offenses and adopt an attitude of service. Avoiding offenses and adopt an attitude of service. It's going together. That if you commit offenses, you don't have a service attitude, because you want to exploit the holy name.
Do you say, so if you feel enthusiastic to serve, then you don't have offenses?
If you feel enthusiastic to serve, at least you will become purified. Yes, sure. That's a sign of advancement. And that is what Rupa Goswami is saying. Utsaha nisayadari. Utsaha. Enthusiasm is important. So now this morning we have heard about the benefits of the holy name, right? And that and we have heard we can only get these benefits from the holy name. Other processes will be very difficult. But sometimes we may not experience the desired result. And we may become doubtful, is it really working? But make no mistake, the process works. It works. And it works for everyone, provided that there are no offenses. Then it works. It brings us back to the first evening when we discussed the holy name is a person. It's a person. If you call my name and I come, and you slap me in the face, I'm probably not going to come the next time you call me, right? You can keep me calling for days, but I'm not going to respond for sure. So the Lord in the form of the holy name responds in a similar way. If we commit offenses, it will be difficult. And that brings us to this verse of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhau janma karya dishavana kirtanam tabotana paya Krishna padi premadan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chant of the Hare Krishna mantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy names for many births, he will not get the love of Godhead. That is the ultimate goal of the chant. It's also, Lord Chaitanya continued, Ena Krishna nama yadi laya bhavara, tabu yadi premanai nai asrudara, tabe jane aparada tahate prachura, Krishna name bichatai nakare ankura. If one chants the exalted holy name of the Lord again and again, and yet his love for the Supreme Lord is not developed, and tears do not appear in his eyes, it is evident that because of his offenses in chanting the seed of the holy name of Krishna does not sprout. So offenses in Sanskrit is called nam aparat. Aparat. Apa means what removes us from, separates us from up. And Radha means Radharani. What separates us from Radharani. Yes. So this namaparat is destructive for our spiritual growth, and we should not allow it. So there are these 10 offenses, and we chant them every morning in our ISKCON temples. They do it also here in Ujjain. They are chanting it in Sanskrit and then I think in Hindi there. We are chanting it in English. So there are 10 offenses to be avoided while chanting. 1, to blaspheme the devotees who dedicate their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2, consider names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal of the name of Lord Vishnu Krishna. 3, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4, to blaspheme the Vedic literature in pursuance or to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting to be imagination, thinking it's imagination. 6, to give some interpretation of the holy name. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name, committing breaking the full regulative principles and thinking then I'm going to chant and my karma will be removed. That's an exploiting mentality. And 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities of karma kanda. Thinking, I'm going to chant and then I'm going to become happy in this world. That's not the purpose of the chant. To get material happiness. No. Yeah. 9, to instruct the faithless persons about the glory of the holy name. And 10, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. So that brings up these 10 offenses. Of course, it's worthwhile to give a whole seminar on these 10 offenses. Sure. But we don't have the time here, so I will give you 10 defenses. How to defend ourselves against these 10 offenses. So the first offense was to blaspheme devotees who dedicate their lives for the preaching of the holy name. What this defense is, serve those who serve the Lord, appreciate their good qualities. That's the first thing. So you serve the devotees and you glorify them. That will counteract that. And the second was that thinking that names of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma are equal on the name of Lord Vishnu. The defense is adore the Lord as the supreme enjoyer, controller, and friend. Respect great responsibilities. Respect great personalities like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Ganesh, and Hanuman as exalted devotees of the Lord. They are devotees of the Lord, servants of that. Yes. So here, Bhagavad Gita, here the scriptures, Bhaktam Charatapasam Sarvalokamashvanam Suradam Sarvabhutnam Kattvamam Santim Richati. That Krishna is a proprietor of everything, and therefore he is the supreme enjoyer. He's a friend of all. And then it's an offense to disobey the instructions of the spiritual master. How to counteract that? Was the defense carrying out the orders of the spiritual master with enthusiasm and attention in detail. So the orders of the spiritual master are the orders of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Think through the scriptures. Think always, I'm going to do something. Is that going to please my spiritual master? Is that what Krishna wants us to do in Bhagavad Gita? If the answer is no, don't do it. And then to blaspheme the Vedic literature, our defense is honor and study the scriptures as the instructions of the Supreme. So here, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam every day. And then we thinking that the holy name is imagination. What's the defense? Consider the descriptions of the holy name given by the acharyas and scriptures to be not even slightly exaggerated. In other words, it's good to hear this seminar that we are presenting here to understand the characteristics and the power of the holy name and how we can benefit by this power by chanting. And then 6 is The offense is to give some interpretation on the holy name. The defense is experience the holy name as transcendental sound, then descending from the spiritual world. That the holy name, no need to give interpretation. Holy name is Krishna himself. It's not different. It's absolute. And then, instead of committing sinful activities on the strength of the name, what's the defense? Protect your investing in chanting by following the regulative principles. So don't eat meat, fish, eggs, no illicit sex. Always be truthful. And that don't gamble. So that will protect you. That follow the regulative principles, the principles of religion, the 4 principles of religion. That's important. The cleanliness, truthfulness, austerity, compassion. These are the 4 regulative principles, 4 principles of religion. If we learn this from the Bhagavatam. In the first canto at the end, it's discussed in detail. And as long as we follow that this is an instruction of Bhishma Dev and to Maharaj Yudhishthir, the battle of Kurukshetra is just over. And Yudhishthir Maharaj is worried. Millions of soldiers of Kshatriyas died on the battlefield just to bring me on the throne. Anyway, Krishna makes arrangement that Bhishma Dev, who is lying on a bed of arrow and is going to leave his body soon, will instruct Yudhishthira Maharaj how to rule the kingdom. And there are many instructions, wonderful instructions to read. And one of the instructions he gives is, he says to Maharaj Yudhishthira, as long as you follow the instructions of the Brahmins and the principles of religion, you will be protected by these principles of religion. So it's important to know how to live in line with these religious principles. And it's therefore so important to follow these 4 regulative principles. Yes?
I was thinking also honoring Prasadam, not eating from outside, because those impression also in 4 regulative principles going in this.
Yeah. So if we eat food prepared by materialistic people, not offered to Krishna, that will weaken our mind and make it more difficult to follow the 4 regulative principles. It's a very good point and very important. Don't eat anything which is not offered to Krishna, even if it's vegetarian. Because even if it's not offered to Krishna, it will cause you to take birth again. Finally, that's the point. That it's very important. And my experience is that when I think everyone who comes to this moment, in the beginning it's difficult to follow these 4 regulative principles. To control the senses is so difficult. But then after 5-6 years, it started to go better. 5-6 years only eating Krishna Prasad. This body is made of food. Every cell is replaced every 6 years. After 6 years only eating Krishna Prasad, your body becomes Prasad. It becomes spiritual. And then it becomes more easy to follow. You lose the taste for these sinful activities. Because these sinful activities, that's what people in this material world like. That's what they like. It's quite opposite. But when you go into spiritual life, you take only prasad after 5, 6 years, you lose the taste for these things. And it becomes easier. You are not attracted anymore. Because that attraction is a great illusion. And then this karma kanda, that 8 offense to thinking that I chant Hare Krishna and I will get material benefit in my life. That like in the karma kanda, no. Instead, we should have a feeling of duty and obligation to act for the pleasure of Krishna, to act for the pleasure of the spiritual master. That's why we should act as a servant of Krishna and the spiritual master. And we should not instruct those who have no faith in the glories of the holy name. Krishna says that also in Bhagavad Gita. One should not explain this knowledge to those who are not my devotees, who are not austere. The same thing. So instead of trying to instruct those who are faithless, we should discuss the glories of the holy name with the servants of the Lord and relish them. And then...
So how do you reconcile Mahaprabhu's instruction, whoever you meet, talk about it?
Yeah, whoever you meet. Well, we go on the street and we try to distribute Krishna consciousness. We speak with people. So Krishna says, don't approach those who are envious.
How do we know? I mean, we are just
that's very easy. Try to give them a book, you will know very quickly. Try to give them a book, you know very quickly. And if they are inimical, just go to the next one, forget about it. It's not an easy, not a very difficult thing. But yeah, Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita, sometimes we take the risk and we are offering open classes, open to everyone. And that's a risk. So the devotee many times want to be more merciful than the Lord. Because you may want to give Krishna consciousness to someone, but Krishna is in his heart and he knows he's very inimical and envious towards him. And Krishna does not allow it. That's interesting. But yes, the pure devotee, he has the power to give Krishna consciousness to everyone. And that is a system. This is mentioning Madhurya Kanambini. Krishna has delegated the power to give Krishna consciousness without discrimination to his pure devotee. To his pure devotee, but not to us. But therefore, if we meet someone, we should try to give them a book. If they take a book of Srila Prabhupada and they open the book, Prabhupada is preaching to them as a pure devotee. And that's most powerful. Most powerful. Srila Prabhupada said many times, what will your two minutes preaching to do to them? Nothing. But if you give them a book, then they will start reading the book. If they start reading the book, some of them do. And it transforms their lives. Okay? And then the 10th offense is chanting inattentively. What is the difference? Chant attentively, absorbing heart and mind in the holy name and becoming steadily more detached from materialism. That, so that is not easy. If we chant the holy name, we are with Krishna. And we should only absorb in the holy name and forget all the rest. Trying to feel Krishna in the heart. But to feel Krishna in the heart, before we start chanting, you have your chanting beats. Before starting chanting, we pray to Prabhupada or another spiritual master. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sunyavada Paskachaya. While you are chanting, you feel Prabhupada in your heart. And then you chant a Panchatattva. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaurabhakta. And you feel Gaunita in your heart. Try to feel Gaunita in your heart while you chant. And then you chant Hare Krishna mantra and try to find Krishna in your heart. And you will see what happens. Don't try to go directly to Krishna. It's very powerful. And then stay with Krishna in the heart. So in 1999, I was in Mayapur. I was a young devotee, got just first and second initiation. And I went with my Guru Maharaj on Parikram, Navadvip Mandal Parikram in Mayapur. And the first day of the Parikram, Bhakti Maharaj said to us, now you have arrived in the spiritual world. Stay with your consciousness on the spiritual platform. But don't come down anymore. Always chant the holy names of Krishna and hear the pastimes. And absorb in the pastimes in the holy places. And don't come down with your consciousness. That's the point. I've seen my Guru Maharaj Bhakti Maharaj. I was his servant for some time also. Very intense personality. Very intense. He was, but when he was absorbed in looking at the deities or he was chanting, he would not see anything else. I could see that when he would take darshan, he would not be aware who was around him. He would see the deities with great absorption. And that is essential also in the chanting. This one-pointed intelligence. Don't try to do different things at the same time. Materialists, they want to do so many things at the same time. Just absorb your consciousness on one point. And that is just hearing the mantra. Hearing is the mantra is just to come up absorbed in the sound, is associating with Krishna. Don't try to see Krishna with your senses of your mind. That interferes. But Krishna, if we become advanced, may reveal himself to the heart. That's something else. Then we should cultivate a mood to the holy name and the Vaishnavas. Cultivate a mood of service. And that's explained by Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion, his famous verse quoted by Srila Prabhupada many times. Atasi Krishna Namadina Bhavathyayam Indriyai Sevamokhe Jivatus Svayameva Spratyata. Therefore, material senses cannot appreciate the holy name, form, qualities, pastimes. But when a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the holy name and taste the remnants of the Lord's fruit, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. Krishna will reveal himself.
Maharaj, if you don't mind, can you go over all these things? These are very powerful for the thing.
Yeah.
Just very quick if possible. Otherwise, I will wait after the talk.
Well, I will read them. Then hear them again. 1. Serve those who serve the Lord. Appreciate their good qualities. 2. Adore Lord Krishna as a supreme enjoyer, controller, and friend. Respect great personalities such as Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Ganesh, and Hanuman as exalted devotees of Lord Krishna. 3. Carry out the orders of the spiritual master with enthusiasm and attention to detail. 4. Honor and study the scriptures as instructions of the Supreme Lord. 5. Consider the descriptions of the glories of the holy name given by the acharyas in the scriptures to be not even slightly exaggerated. 6. Experience the holy name as transcendental sound descending from the spiritual world. 7. Protect your investment in chanting by following the regulative principles. 8. Transcend feelings of duty and obligation and act for Krishna's pleasure. 9. Discuss the glories of the holy name with the servants of the Lord who relish them. 10. Chant attentively, absorbing heart and mind in the holy name and becoming steadily more detached from materialism. These were the 10 that so cultivate a mood of service to the holy name. The next instruction is take shelter of the holy name constantly. So if still after hearing all this, we are making these offenses, this apparat, what to do? That apparat cannot, this NAM apparat is very serious and cannot be counteracted. The negative effect from NAM apparat goes even up to Bhava, the higher stages of devotional service. So we can understand how serious it is. So Srila Prabhupada writes in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23.24, there is no way to atone for any of these offenses. It is therefore recommended that an offender at the holy name continue to chant the holy name 24 hours a day. Constant chanting of the holy name will make one free of offenses. Then he will gradually be elevated to the transcendental platform on which he can chant the pure name and thus become a lover of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It says constantly chanting of the holy name. But we cannot do it. And Prabhupada also did not advise to do that unless one becomes advanced. That he gave us a minimum of 16 rounds and he gave us service to do. That service, because that service is the way to get the mercy. If we engage in Lord Chaitanya's mission, we get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, and we will advance in the chanting. That's the way to get mercy. Constant chanting, Haridas Thakur could do it. The next instruction is give up false pride and accept the treasure of humility. So that is Sikshastakam, verse 3. That's the mood to chant the holy name. Trinata Pishnechna Tarora Visishna Amana Manadna Kirtana Sadari. One should think oneself lower than a grass and more tolerant than a tree. Do not expect honor for himself, is prepared to give honor to all others. In that state of mind, one can chant the holy name constantly. So pride gets in the way of the chanting of the holy name. That if we think we are great, maybe we are above the average in intelligence, we look nice, or popularities, physical strength, or whatever. But this can be favorable in our life, but the problem arises when we think we are exceptional. Well, Queen Kunti, she explains that in her prayer, Shanmashvara Shuddha Shigahedamana Punam Navrata Didati Fram Tvamakin Shana Gochara. That's Shanma Ashvara. Shanma, if one thinks I'm of a good birth, I'm an American, the highest birth, or I'm from aristocratic descent. And Ashvara, I have a lot of wealth, Edamana, yeah. Shanmashvara Shuddha is education. I have so many titles, PhD and so on. And Shibir, I'm beauty. I'm beautiful. If one is attached, Queen Kunti calls these 4 intoxications. If you become attached to these things, Krishna says, you cannot pray feelingly to Krishna. You cannot feel Krishna in your chanting. It will not come. You cannot pray feelingly. That one must be, Tvamakinshna Gocha, materially impoverished, she says. That these material qualities are going with the body. When we leave the body, it's all finished. But the spiritual qualities you develop, you take with you to your next life. And they will manifest again. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, on this path there is no diminution. That Name Bhaktya Pranashati, my devotee will never perish. That so all what you gain spiritually, you get for eternity. But you get materially, you will lose. And if you become attached to that, what you gain materially, it's an obstacle. We can use it in Krishna's service, but this pride, very a big problem. So this is a purport of Srila Prabhupada from this verse of King Kunti. Prabhupada says, it is said that in the Shastras, that by once uttering the holy name of the Lord, the sinner gets rid of a quantity of sins that he is unable to commit. Such is the power of uttering the holy name of the Lord. There is not the least exaggeration in this statement. Actually, the Lord's holy name has such powerful potency, but there is a quality to such utterance also. It depends on the quality of feeling. A helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name, whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. Materially puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but is incapable of uttering the name in quality. Interesting, uttering the name in quality. And then, in what mood should we chant? And this Prabhupada, yeah, he gives the example of one should chant like a child crying for the mother. You should chant the holy name like a child crying for its mother. Prabhupada, it's analyzed here in four ways. Srila Prabhupada brings it up. First, Prabhupada says, these three words, namely Hare, Krishna, and Ram, are the transcendental seeds of the Mahamantra. The chanting is a spiritual call for the Lord and his energy to give protection to the conditioned soul. This chanting is exactly like the genuine cry of a child for its mother's presence. Mother Hara helps the devotee to achieve the Lord's Father's grace, and the Lord reveals himself to the devotee who chants this mantra sincerely. So if a child cries for the mother, it's helpless. We should feel helpless in this world. We are in difficulty. Only Krishna can get us out of this world. Therefore, we cry out to Krishna. We chant the Hare Krishna as a crying out of Krishna, to Krishna. So helplessness, this mood of a child calling for mother has a few different nuances to it. One is a feeling of helplessness. A small child cannot survive without a mother's care. When children have good parents, they don't need to think about their own maintenance or protection. If they are hungry or thirsty, they go to their mother. If they are tired, they climb up the mother's lap and go to sleep. If they are frightened or distressed, they run to the mother for shelter, and the mother is very happy to provide whatever is needed. This is the nature of the relationship. So helplessness. It's helplessness, but there is also in the chanting a focus. That the chanting, like the crying of a child for the mother, is focused on one person, the mother. So the relationship between a child and mother is extremely close and somewhat exclusive. When a baby cries, there may be thousands of people who are willing and able to help, but none can console the child. Even the father is often at loss in stopping the baby's crying. The baby wants only its mother. The crying is specifically directed toward the mother. There is a feeling towards the mother that I'm yours. Focus. First was helplessness, focus. But then the third one is love. A third significance of the mother and child analogy is the sense of love, since Srila Prabhupada said that the closest thing to pure love in this world is the mother's love for her child. There is no closer bond of affection than between the mother and the child. No matter what her children may do, the mother cannot stop loving them. No matter how ugly her children are, the mother sees them as beautiful. Even if a child rejects the mother and leaves home for years, the mother will receive them back with open arms at any moment. Now. And then longing. That the child is not just speaking to the mother, but it's calling out loudly, desperately crying, as if there is no tomorrow. For the mother's comforting presence, our chanting should be with the same intense longing for Krishna's association. Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion that the only qualification required to go back to God that is laulyam, intensely to attain it. So these are these four ways, four aspects of crying like a child from the mother. First is helplessness, the focus, the love, and the longing. So, of course, it's important. Now, a few more important points. So, attitude is everything. Prabhupada said in advancing spiritually. And we are in this material world because we were rebellious towards Krishna. We wanted to take his position as enjoyer and proprietor. And most people in this world still want to do that. But if we chant the holy name, we must give up that rebellion. And how do we do that? We accept the authority of Krishna's representative, the spiritual master. Take shelter of them. We take shelter of Guru, Sada, and Shastra. So this, and we should therefore connect with the Guru's parampara, with the authorized sampradaya. So we should take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and follow his instructions. What does the spiritual master instruct us at the time of initiation? Say, you should chant the holy name of Krishna, he said. You should follow the four relative principles. You should avoid the 10 offenses. He says that at initiation. Follow this authority. And most of these instructions we find here about the holy name. Srila Prabhupada writes there are four Vaishnava sampradayas of the disciplic succession. One sampradaya comes from Lord Brahma. That's our sampradaya. And one from the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. And one from the Kumaras, Sanat Kumara. And one from Lord Shiva. These four disciplic systems of disciplic succession are still going on. As King Prithu has illustrated, one who is serious about receiving transcendental Vedic knowledge must accept the Guru or spiritual master in one of these four disciplic succession. It is said that unless one accepts a mantra from one of these sampradayas, the so-called mantra will not act in Kali Yuga. What does it mean? I'm not initiated, I'm chanting out chanting holy name. It will not act. Not really. We can accept Srila Prabhupada as our spiritual master. And if we follow his instructions, then we are connected in the chanting. But one of the instructions of the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada in his book is that we should take initiation. That's also there. That because if we take initiation and means Initiation is beginning. We are become very serious. By that initiation, by that connection, the power, the full power of the holy name can manifest. Otherwise, the power is limited. That the last point I want to address is, and this is explained by Haridas Thakur. He says, to chant the holy name successfully, we should be situated properly in our constitutional position as a servant of Krishna. And that requires that knowledge of Sambandha, the knowledge of our relationship with Krishna. Without that knowledge, you cannot chant the holy name. We must accept Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. We must understand that we are part and parcels of Krishna, servants of Krishna. And it's our duty to serve Krishna out of love. So that's called Sambandha. It has three aspects in knowledge: knowing who Krishna is, knowing who we are, and knowing what our relationship is. And then, after that, we must learn how to act in that relationship, and that's called Abhideya. And we must also know what's the goal. Prayojan is the goal. The goal is to develop love for Krishna. If all these things are right, then we can chant holy name. That means impersonalists who don't accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, think is an ordinary person, they may chant the holy name, but it will have no effect. It's offensive. Because Krishna is a person. So to be situated in this Sambandha, our relationship with Krishna. So while chanting, we should remember our true identity. What is our true identity? Not this body, not being a man, a woman, no. It's Shivera Shrupahoy, Nitya Krishna Das. That the living entity is eternally a servant of Krishna. And that's our position. That when we forget this fundamental fact, then we identify with the body. And we become entangled in this material world. And that will distract us from the chanting. Our chanting becomes offensive. So we must remember our position as a servant. And remembering that position of a servant is remembering our relationship with Krishna. It's called Sambandha. And Haridas Thakur, who is a Namacharya, the expert in the chanting of the holy name, he says, if a person by a saintly Vaishnava's mercy understands one's relationship with Lord Krishna and chants his holy name, that person then attains a great treasure of spiritual love. However, as long as one does not understand one's relationship with Krishna, the individual soul will take shelter of the shadow of the holy name. So there's a lot to say about it, but what I can say is that to cultivate that awareness of our constitutional position towards Krishna, it's so important to hear daily Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam goes, it's teaching us what it means living in a relationship with Krishna. Because that's the purpose of our life. That's real sannyas. is constantly living in a relationship with Krishna. Krishna is in our heart. We can see Krishna every moment. And that awareness, Krishna is within, without, everywhere. But if we hear daily Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees like Prabhupada by reading his books, we become aware of our constitutional position, who we really are. And that will help tremendously to advance in the chanting. That it's much more to say, but we are already 90 minutes talking, well, and we are limited of what we can retain from it. But I think I explained the essence of how to chant the holy names. Of course, the next step is explaining the process of chanting in 9 stages. But that we will explain another time. That this is how long we should chant. But if we first learn to chant properly, that will help us to advance in spiritual life. Any questions, comments? You think yes? Yes, please.
Thank you, Maharaj. The difference between chanting alone and chanting in a group of other devotees, there is some difference, or is it all the same?
No. If you are chanting in association of devotees, you are spiritually protected. It will be easier to focus. But if you chant alone, you are alone with your mind. And your mind, your thinking, feeling, and willing, if you are impure, is your enemy. And it will distract you from the chanting. So many things. You may think this is more important than that and that. But if you are there are different aspects. If you are chanting in a holy place, that will protect you. This is a holy place, it's a temple. If you are chanting in association of devotees, that will protect you. If you are chanting before the deities, that will help you to focus. That if you only take Krishna Prasad and you hear daily the Bhagavatam, that will help, in association of devotees, will help you. Therefore, Prabhupada is organized that we have a morning and an evening program. The morning program, all these aspects are there. So we hear in the morning Bhagavatam about Krishna, and in the evening Bhagavad Gita, the words of Krishna. It's like a sandwich. And that protects us. But the problem is that in the 70s, joining ISKCON meant you went to live in the temple, you gave all your possessions away, and you served, went out on Harinam, book distribution, and that was it. But then later, devotees started to marry and went outside. But the idea is that outside, you create the same, in the family, you create the same atmosphere. You install the deity in your house. You have your own morning program and evening program together with the family. And during the day, you work out for Krishna. You do the same thing as in the temple. And it is, therefore, it's good to have an experience of living in the temple. If you then come home, then you can recreate that atmosphere and you gain the ability to engage yourself in spiritual activities. But in the beginning, you don't have that power. And it's difficult. I'm traveling a lot, many times I'm not in the temple. But whether I'm in the temple or not, I have my own morning program. I will never miss. I worship my own deities, and I have the chanting. I hear a lecture of Prabhupada. I will sing Guru Puja, all the prayers in the morning, Lord Shingadev. So I gained the ability to do this myself. But if I didn't, I learned that because I lived in the temple. And when I'm outside the temple, I live the same lifestyle. And today we have facilities like the internet. You can see, you can follow morning classes on the internet from Mayapur, from even here in the US temples. They are like here we have it's recorded. We have also others who are listening now online. So that is the advantage. But that is the abhideya, how to engage in devotional service, and that we have to learn. Or that's called bhajana kriya in Sanskrit, how to perform devotional service. And it's first, there are different stages. First, you have shraddha, you have some faith, and then sadhusanga, you associate with devotees, and you learn from them the process. Therefore, we also, from the spiritual master, we learn the process. And then you come to bhajana kriya, how to perform devotional service. And how to perform devotional service is explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar of Devotion. It's a book written by Rupa Goswami with the essence, a very practical book, how to perform devotional service. And Prabhupada said every devotee should read that book and know this book in and out. Because that's really the practical thing, how to do it at home. Anyway, that's Nectar of Devotion. There is a learning curve here. We must learn it from the devotees. But it's very beautiful. When I came to the movement, I learned from the devotees, followed the Bhakti Shastri course and so many courses, cooking courses, how to cook for Krishna. A devotee is always busy, cooking for Krishna, shopping for Krishna, and distributing books or engaging in his mission, that hearing lectures, chanting, japa walk, making pizza for Krishna. There's no end. The devotee is always busy. So even if you are alone, you can do so many wonderful things. I like to cook for Krishna at home. I cook for Krishna. So many preparations. I was also in the temple Radha Gopinath. In the beginning, I was pujari for some time there, and I did all the pujari services for Radha Gopinath and cooking the Rajbhog. I think it's 14 preparations you have to make in 2 hours. You have to be in time. And you learn cooking, and it's ecstatic. That it's so nice that you become absorbed, and while cooking you hear lectures and always absorbed in Krishna. It's so beautiful. It's a lifestyle of the devotee. It's nice. I hope that helped. But rather this. Yeah, this deities originally were installed in Amsterdam, and Prabhupada gave the names. But later they came to Radhadesh, and we bought a castle in 1979. And since then they are there. beautiful, beautiful. It is a beautiful community also. We are 100. Now there are living about 200 devotees. Very, very international. Many are from Holland also. That's really international, and we are really together. It's wonderful just to be there. Yeah. Good.
I have a question about the differences. If you can please explain number 5, which is against the thinking only in imagining. The difference, if you can explain how.
Yeah, so we have heard the holy name as the power. It's to destroy all your karma and all your reactions it has a power to purify the holy name. But one may think, yes, I'm chanting for so long now and nothing happens. I'm still that, and one loses faith. But that doesn't. That is something we have to take away from this seminar. It's not because the holy name is lacking power. No, the holy name has full power. But it's not manifesting if we make this apparat. And that's the point. Apparat, and when we are not sincere. Not sincere means not having ulterior motives other than serving Krishna. If you have the right motive, but to have the right motive, our material desires are preventing that. Because a material desire is factually a prayer to the super soul to fulfill material desires. It's like we want to chant nicely, but then these material desires are there. It's like someone who is embracing a tree, and he's embracing the tree very tightly, and he said, and he calls out, "Let me go, let me go, let me go." And then a saintly person comes and said, but you are holding on the tree. Let the tree go. So we are holding the tree. We are holding these material desires, and we call out to Krishna, "I love you, but I love more my material desires." That's the reality. We can't let it go, and that's the problem. Therefore, we have to come to anartha nivritti, or this clearing state of the chanting. And we have to give up this apparat. Good. Thank you very much. Yes?
Chanting aloud, what's the rules of chanting aloud and quietly, silently? Are there any rules, regulations with that?
Normally, when we do kirtan, we chant loud. When we chant japa, we should chant also loud enough so that we can hear it properly. That's important. But yeah.
And I say, I know it's Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Is it Hare, or Hare?
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simple. Okay. Thank you very much. Do you think this seminar was helpful?
Very helpful. Very helpful. It's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Maharaj, on the offense 5, I thought it was more of a Mayavadi conception that conditioned soul has.
Yeah, that's also certainly.
Because imagination, because they imagine. I mean, that's also within us.
Yeah, that's the greatest offense.
We imagine the holy name, the holy name is a person, the name is a God, we are thinking this imagination is not real.
Mm. Yeah, of course, this is one aspect of this offense, and is the gravest offense. The Mayavadis are offended of Krishna. They want to themselves become Krishna in the form of merging with Brahma. Good.
This was beautiful.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Yeah, why not, Maharaj? Maybe we can get a little feedback from everyone.
Yeah.
Let's start with.
Very good. Thank you very much for having me. It was some of the points were eye openers, and I'm sure I wanted to go back and hear again, and especially in today's this particular session.